Welcome to the Silhouettes of Success podcast with your host, successful entrepreneur, broker, and business mentor, Amber Weitzer. Because success comes in all shapes, sizes, and styles, the Silhouettes of Success podcast is shining the light on industrious women with a collection of curated conversations of intentional inspiration designed to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, feed your soul, and gift you with actionable insights directly from inspirational, everyday women who've shown tenacity, grit, and grace, having taken on the challenges in their lives and business and won. Remarkable, down-to-earth, and relatable, Amber and her guests will share with you uplifting and extraordinary real-life success stories, motivational ideas that just might help spark something within you. With the deepest desire to serve you, help you grow so you can begin to shine the light that will illuminate your very own silhouette of success. So, let's get to it.
Hello, and welcome to the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success. Don't blink an eye or look away for 1 second because this sensational, groundbreaking go-getter is on fire pursuing her goals and dreams. She has over 12 years in the real estate industry, but that's just the beginning. So please help me welcome Nikki Watson, entrepreneur and the owner of The Design Quad. Hello, Nikki.
Hi, how are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. You have such a wonderful story to share about your journey from flooring sales to design and staging, then course creation and facilitating your class to hundreds of realtors. So talk to us about that part of your Silhouette of Success story and maybe what was the most valuable lesson or skill or skills that you treasure from that experience?
So I started out in flooring sales, as you said, and I was really nervous because I never sold anything. So going into sales for somebody like me, I guess I've done customer service, but I'd never really sold any product. So that's kind of scary in itself. So going into sales, I just really didn't know where to start and how to build relationships to get sales going. So I kind of got creative and kind of made it up on my own. The first place that I went to sell some floors, I went down to the county courthouse. And I know that investors buy houses and they usually need work done. So that was the first place that I met some of my first clients. So I would go there and kind of pass out my cards and say, hey, if you ever need any floors, give me a call. And that's where I really built a base of my clients, was going to these investor meetings and meeting investors and really kind of learning what they do. And that's really how I got started in just doing any kind of sales. It was just really scary at first because I just really didn't know where to start. So going from sales into building other relationships, I started meeting realtors and building those relationships and going out to really talking to them, going to their offices, meeting office managers and building those relationships and really getting to know like their families. Like I would see people a lot of times off their work hours and meeting their wives or husbands and children. So I really got into a deeper relationship more than just business. Anybody that's trying to do any kind of sales, you really have to think about what people care about. Like what are people's interests and how you can connect to them outside of business, because they get sold to all day, every day. And that was really what I tried to focus on, is getting to know the people that I'm trying to market to on a deeper level. So what was the other question? I forgot.
The second part of it, as I'm taking tons of notes and I'm just, of course, dazzled by you anyways. You're just so awesome. But the other part of it was maybe what do you most treasure from that experience or the lessons that you learned during that portion of your story?
Something I'd really learned about myself was that I was really good at the marketing piece. So sales and marketing kind of go hand in hand, but the relationship building is what I'm really good at. So fast forward to today. Well, when I was doing the flooring, I started the staging business kind of on the side. It was my hobby and it just exploded on me. It blew up. It got really busy because of the relationships that I had built before I got into staging. So once I kind of transitioned over, people just followed me. Hey, I know her. I trust her. I've done business with her before. So I'll just follow her on this next business venture, which was amazing to me. Like, I'm very humbled that people put that kind of trust in me, in my service. So once they came over, yes, I can stage a house. I was good at it. But the part that I was really better at was marketing and building the relationships to get the business. So once I was at a point to hand the staging part or the actual labor part of my business over, then I focused on just getting new clients, getting the name out there, marketing the business. And that's what made it grow even more to the point where it is now. So I guess that was the thing that I took away, was I was better at marketing than actually doing the actual work.
Well, it's interesting because we would call that the rainmaker, right?
Right. Mm-hmm,
You're the rainmaker.
mm-hmm.
But you have, just because of your beautiful soul. And when I first met you, it shows, it illuminates, and you are extremely talented at building relationships, but not just building it for the sale, right? Or that specific time, but for the long term and nurturing that. It's excellent that you were able to pull that out, identify it, and then delegate and hand over the labor and all of those other things. Was that difficult for you to release?
Oh, yeah. And I think with a lot of business owners, when you're actually, like, you're the face of the company and it's your brand and everybody knows you, you're very weary about handing it over and then not keeping that brand consistent. So yes, I was very nervous in the beginning, but the team that I had, they just picked it right up. I, showed them a couple times and they ran with it. And I've never had to go back and say, hey, this is not what I want. Can you do it this way? I've never had to correct it because it was just like that in the beginning. They picked it up and just took it over. So it was never, the transition was really smooth. Now, of course, I was checking everything out, looking online, like, is this what I want? But I just never had a problem. So that probably for the business owners, the hardest part is to let someone else do the work and you just kind of oversee and not be micromanaging. A lot of us, we take control of our brand because it's our brand, but we do have to, at a certain point, let a little bit of that go in order to grow, because you can't scale any kind of business if you're the one actually doing the work. If I go into Walmart, I'm not going to see that family because they have let other people run it and they've delegated those tasks. So if you want to grow any kind of business, you're going to have to take yourself out of the equation on the daily task.
And is that so easy to learn? Or is it something?
It's not.
No.
It's a process. It really is a process because, first starting out with the staging business, I was going out to preview the properties, sending the contract or sending an estimate. Once they say yes, going to send the contract, lining up the movers, picking out the furniture, going out to the house, installing it. Then when it's ready to sell, getting everything together to pick up the house, to destage. So that's the full process. Right now, I'm not involved in any of that, but it took a while to get to that point. I have a person that only does previews, the person that only does contracts and estimates, a person that does the moving, the person that does the, schedules the moving and staging on the day-to-day basis. So that whole process is delegated out now. It took about 6 months, I'd say, to remove myself, to be at a point where, hey, let them do it. Don't try to interfere. Let's see how it works. And you really have to make yourself sit down, really. Gotta sit
Now,
down.
sit on your hands and, all of the
Yes.
things. Hey, I
Mhm.
get it. I get it. But it's interesting because, and I'll have you share a little bit on this, something that really caught my attention when you were maybe looking to turn the reins off. I don't know exactly at what point in your process of delegation I saw this, but it was, and maybe it was when you first started, you tell me, but you had a fantastic, to the point, no messing around posting. I can't remember it word for word, but I can see it on LinkedIn. And it was something to the effect of, if you're serious, I'm not looking for the hobbyist, or I think I can, or the do it yourself first. And that really caught my attention because it was to the point, you meant business and you knew exactly what you were looking for.
Right.
So you hired
Yeah.
smart.
That is, yes, hiring people and looking for the right quality. So I know that you and I, we were in a leadership class together and we took the personality profile. That is a huge hiring tool. If anybody is coming onto a company, or, if you just want to hire somebody on a team, you have to know what their strengths are and what your strengths are first, so that you can balance it out. I'm a creative mind. So in our class, I was a blue. So I'm not very organized. Like, I don't want to see a spreadsheet. Don't ever show it to me. I don't want to see it. But there are people that live by them. They have 7 spreadsheets for each activity that they have during the day. It's charted out. Everything is timed. And that's a very high organized person. So if you, as a leader of the company, don't have any of that, you want to look for somebody that has that so that you can balance that out. And so now you have a complete team. So that's kind of what I do when I'm looking for somebody to onboard, is find the person that has something that we're lacking. If none of us on our team has a certain skill, we're looking for somebody that has that. So just to bring that person in to complete your processes.
That's amazing. And it parlays into one of the next questions I have. When you talk about not wanting to see that you're a blue and not wanting to see that spreadsheet and all of those things. However, I would have to maybe push back a little bit, not on your personality. I know you're creative, but we could spend all day chatting about staging and real estate. But let's take a moment or 4 or 5 to swoon over all that you have going on. And, in the introduction, I mentioned that you're an entrepreneur and that, my friend, you are 100%. So as you share your Silhouette of Success story with us, let's talk about all the other greatness you are creating. And I have to say, there's some organizational skills in there. Or you wouldn't, so talk to us about that. We want to hear everything you're doing, but you've got to prioritize each of those unique businesses and the goals and the to-dos. How are you doing that?
That is true. So with the staging business kind of running itself where I have it now, I had a lot of free time. So during COVID was a eye opener for me. I hadn't, I guess from March to August, I didn't work. Like, I didn't do any staging. I didn't do any staging business. I probably went to the office maybe every 2 weeks to kind of write checks and, just the other stuff to do, but I wasn't very active. So when I got to that point, I was like, what am I doing with my time? So of course, other things, ideas pop up and you start these other businesses. And I do, to a certain degree, have to be a little bit organized, but I'm setting those up the same way as this staging business to run themselves. I'm not trying to be in the daily activity of these businesses just because that's not what I want to do. That's not my passion. So my cousin and I have kind of teamed up. We are building houses, affordable housing in certain areas of town. Just we buy pieces of land. He's been building for about 20 years. So we just kind of got together and we would build these houses quick, 72 days. We're from foundation to closing. So we're building houses, and that's kind of our joint venture. he's the project manager. I'm just kind of overseeing everything. And that's one of the things that if I need to go over and kind of look over something at the property, I'll go. But it doesn't take a lot of my time, but it is a high return because that I have someone in place that is actually overseeing every day and making sure everything's done on a schedule and on time. He's the project manager of the projects. So that's one thing that I'm doing. My sister and I and my best friend, we have a traveling murder mystery. We travel, like we've done Dallas a couple times. We go to Atlanta, Houston, LA. So we go around and do this murder mystery. It's a dinner. We thought of this idea on New Year's Day last year. 6 weeks later, we had a cast, we had a script written, we had 10 sold out shows. So for me, if I have an idea, I'm going to jump on it right then. I'm not going to wait for somebody else to do it. That always happens. If you see something, you're like, oh, I have an idea, I should do this, and you never do it. 6 weeks later, you're going to see somebody else doing it. So I never want to be in that position where I regret not doing something. So I'll just go ahead and do it.
That's so cool. And you're right. There's somebody had a vision about a watch and then up Apple. So, right. Don't let that happen to you. Oh, that's awesome. So if and when if you do find yourself feeling a little maybe overwhelmed, on the verge of a slight burnout, what do you do to stay on track? Or does that even happen to you?
I haven't gotten to that point. I do a lot of extra creative things. So my creative mind, if I get sort of in a rut, I have to do something that is an outlet. So my sister and I, we do like vision boards. We just get together and do some fun stuff throughout the year. And that's kind of my break. We do a vision board party every year for our friends. It's probably about 50 people who come, and we go out and we kind of line out our year. This is what we want to do. And it's so amazing that how vision boards draw out your year. I'm looking at something that on my vision board from last year, it says succeeding in hard times. And I did not know, of course, nobody knew that what 2020 would be, but this probably is going to be our best year yet in our staging business. And it was a terrible time for, it was just a hard time for everybody. So you just don't know what you're going to predict whenever you're doing these vision boards. And then we do a checkup. So we do the vision board party in December for the next year. And then in June, we'll do a second kind of like where you at in your goals, a checkup vision board party. So the thing that I just kind of try to stay focused on the goals and how far am I getting there. And if I don't reach them, I'm not going to beat myself up about it, but it's just kind of a reality check and keep me on track.
I love how you all do that checkup. It's the accountability, right?
Yes.
I mean,
where are you?
Yeah. They're all going to be extremely different and unique to the person, but the fact that you come back together and just bring it back. And that's what those successes are. They're defined by, by each other, by yourself. But that's awesome that you circle back and connect.
Yeah, it's really cool. And we do it around, December when we do it before the new year. And then June is my birthday. So we usually do the vision board party around my birthday time. So it's kind of my birthday party. So
as it should be, right? Would we have it any other way?
There's lots of wine involved. So.
Oh, good. Love it. Okay, Nikki, what positive adjustments, and not just reflecting back on this year, because again, when you spoke to how it's probably your best year yet with the design business, it's interesting how many friends and clients and that has been a true case scenario, that although there was all of what happened in whatever form or fashion, it was a stellar year, even if you reinvested in yourself, right, for that year. Those are huge successes. But what positive adjustments have you made in your life or environment to help support your growth, your scaling, your goals, and your dreams?
I think the biggest thing is making sure that I'm looking for people that need a second chance. So one major thing for me is going back to some of those places that For example, Exodus Ministries. Exodus Ministries is a ministry with that women go and they stay there about a year, and they're coming from prison or rehab, and they just need a second chance. A lot of times they'll get a job in a restaurant, a Smoothie King or Subway or somewhere. There's a franchisee that goes and he'll hire the girls from there, but they don't get opportunities to do things other than that. They have families to provide for. You can make a living on restaurant wage. You're not going to have money for extra things, and you're not probably not going to want to live the life that you see yourself living. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll go and kind of hire those girls out and make sure that I'm making an impact bigger than just, making money every day. That's fine and that's good, but I also want to make an impact on somebody else that I can reach. I have an advantage. I have a chance to pour into somebody else's life, and I make sure I'm doing that at every cost, and every time I can, I try to do that. And that's been in the overall my business, the growth of it. I can attribute the success to it because of that. Because every time we move into another warehouse, those girls are coming over. They're coming in a bus. Everybody come over here, help me move this warehouse. I'm always trying to at least give them an opportunity to make extra money or learn a new skill. I've got them sending out emails, just office work, some just things that I can help them learn. I'm willing to do that just because I know that there's something greater when it comes to your success when you're actually trying to help other people.
That's extraordinary. Not surprising to hear that from you. It really isn't. I believe in everything that you're saying, and your success definitely shows that in a tangible fashion that really, really fills your soul.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Well, that is so heartwarming. And again, not surprising, knowing you. And that is just outstanding because you are just lighting up all those lives. Take my breath away. But wow, that's beautiful, Nikki. Fantastic. Who influences you the most as far as, or even thinking back, who's been a big influence for you in your life, whether it be on the business aspect of it? Can you tie back to maybe one person or a situation?
I think for me, my mom is and my sister and I both, we can both say that she is our biggest cheerleader. So my mom she's a very unique person. I get a lot of my personality from her, always smiling, always happy, but she's very encouraging. So when I first started this business, the staging business, I tell this story all the time, and it is the craziest story. I was married before my ex-husband, and I was working at the flooring company, and my check was being direct deposited to his account. He worked for the state, and at the time I didn't really think anything of it, and I didn't have access. My name wasn't on the account. I didn't have access to money. So if I needed anything, I'd have to ask him. So I wanted to start this staging business. I was like, oh my gosh, I've been telling my friends that I'm a stager now, and posting on these investor boards. And an investor called me and said, hey, she had a house in Rockwall that she wanted to stage. So this would be my first official staging appointment. So I was like, oh my God, I want to do this. This is really what I want to do. I got a logo. I got a website. I've got all this stuff done. I did it all myself, and I'm official.
Yeah.
So I go to him and I ask him, I was like, hey, I need a couple dollars for gas. I need to get to Rockwall because I want to give this lady an estimate because I want to stage her house. I want to start this new business. And he was like, nope, that's going to be a waste of time. I'm not giving you any money. So I'm devastated at this point. And I call my mom. Oh my God, Mom, can you send me some money? And this is before Cash App days. So she had the Western Union. She had the Western Union me $10 to get to Rockwall.
Oh.
So I always tell the story about the $10 because some people think that the people that are closest to you, of course, your spouse, your children, all those people are going to be for you when you are trying to do something. You have a dream, and these people are going to be behind you, but not necessarily. It's not always that case. So for her to be like, yeah, I'll do it. And it was $10. It wasn't major, but that was just the beginning. And she has, every step of the business has been, supportive and just being a cheerleader the entire time. So she is really a major influence on me. She has this one saying that she says all the time, and it's a quote from Maya Angelou: if you get something, give. And if you learn something, teach. So that's the thing that it kind of drives me back to what I was talking about for the Exodus girls. If I get something, like I've got this success, now give it to somebody else, or give an opportunity to somebody else. And if you learn something, like I've learned something about myself, that I'm pretty good at marketing, now I need to teach that to somebody else. So that's my mom's favorite quote: if you get, give; if you learn, teach. And she's a very, very, very inspirational person.
Oh, that's intimately magical. What a hero she is. And that $10 is multiplied into so many $10 that you have now passed on to so many souls, so many women that you are uplifting, that your mom helped uplift you. When you don't have $10 is a lot of money. I can tell you too.
I know.
We've been there. So, oh goodness, that's awesome. So Nikki, as far as you maybe having a favorite leader or mentor, do you have a specific author that you enjoy, something that motivates you a little bit?
I don't read nonfiction much. I read a lot of fiction. I'm a Harlan Coben fan, and I don't know if you know him. He is the bomb. But as far as inspirational writers, now the lady that I'm named after, a lot of people don't know that I'm named after a poet. Her name is Nikki Giovanni, and I have her whole name. So Giovanni's my middle name. And she is such a phenomenal person. Like right now, she's the head of the English department at Virginia Tech. In the 70s, she was really popular because she was kind of edgy and revolutionary, and she was really a great poet. And she is one of the people that I read a lot of her books. I listen to some of her podcasts because she's very knowledgeable, and I just love just to hear everything that she has to say about the world. She's got stuff to say about life and healthy living, and she's just really a great person. So Nikki Giovanni I would say would be my inspiration.
Well, I think you have lived up to your name, edgy and go-getter and uplifting, and that's excellent. Excellent. Okay, my lady. So as we wrap up our visit and keeping my promise to share intentional inspiration, what is one piece of key go-to advice that you'd like to share with our audience?
I think just going after whatever it is you're passionate about. I tell people all the time, and kind of coach small businesses when they're starting up. And I just tell people, go. Do not stop. Don't feel like you've got to wait for something or wait for the right opportunity or right temperature outside, whatever it is you're waiting on. Don't do it. Just go. Because once you see yourself making those goals and benchmarks that you've set for yourself, you're not going to stop. So if you start, just start anywhere. Just start.
Excellent. Thank you. And as we wrap up, milady, where can our audience go to connect with you on your socials and support you in your continued success?
I'm at the Design Quad. So the Design Quad like 4. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. I'm not all into Twitter, but we're on Twitter barely. But we're at the Design Quad, all those places, and our website, thedesignquad.com.
Perfect. And I'll be sure and share those links so they can find you and your amazing, amazing businesses that you've got going on. Nikki, thank you once again for sharing your silhouette of success with us. You are a true light, and it's a blessing to know you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Silhouettes of Success podcast. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe so you automatically get new episodes, and we'd love if you left us a review. We love to keep you in the ripple of support flowing and encourage you to pass on the light to help illuminate another's silhouette of success. So, please share this podcast on all your socials. Amber would love to hear from you, and you can find her on Facebook, LinkedIn, or head over to amberweitzer.com to reach out. To find out the latest ways to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, and gain actionable insights, subscribe at amberweitzer.com. The Silhouettes of Success is for those women who want to illuminate their success in life and business and pass it on to support others. We are honored and humbled that you've tuned in.